Hey everyone, it's Ryan Groos from the looploft.com, and today I want to talk a little bit about file naming conventions and how they relate to the drum loops that we produce. Right now I'm looking at the Indie Rock Drums refill that we just put out with Propeller Head, just as an example, showing you inside some of the loop folders and explaining exactly how you can, just by visually seeing a file name, get a good understanding of what is taking place inside of that loop. So let's open up some of these Rex 2 loops in this collection, and I'm going to open up this first folder here, 81 Flaming Tongues, and you'll see there's a series of Rex loops, and I'm just going to walk you through left to right what the file name actually means when you're seeing it. So these file names will always start with a series of numbers. In this case, 81 dictates that is the BPM. So this original track was recorded at 81 BPM. The great thing is with Rex loops, of course you can speed it up to 100 BPM, 120 BPM, or take it down to 60. It doesn't really matter, but this just gives you a better sense of where that track was originally recorded. And then the next two letters are what the drummer is doing, me in this case, with his left hand, typically the backbeat. So the first few grooves here, you'll see CS stands for cross stick, and then below that you'll see SN, which stands for snare drum, and so on. So that is the instrument that is being played with the left hand. And then to the right of that is exactly what the drummer is doing with his right hand. In this case, the hi-hat for most of the grooves in the beginning. Then you'll see there's some ride cymbal and then riding the toms. So this really gives you a good idea of what the drummer is doing, at least with his, with his top two limbs in the timekeeping. So to give you a better sense for if you're looking for a verse groove, you can always look for, typically more than not, it's a hi-hat. If you want a chorus groove, look for RC, which stands for ride cymbal. And I'll post the full file naming convention that's printed out on the Loop Loft, so you can follow along closely. But once you work with it a few times, it's really intuitive and allows you to just visually kind of find the loops you're looking for and audition them quickly without sifting through all these bizarre file names that don't really tell you exactly what's going on with the loop. To find loops that contain fills, just look for the F at the end of the file name. The series of grooves we're looking at right now are, in this case, snare backbeats in the left hand, hi-hat groove in the right hand. And then we'll see there are some file names that have F at the end here. So these are fill variations on those same grooves. So these loops are great to put at the end of phrases, going into choruses or bridges, on that 8th measure, that 16th measure, typically that leads into a new section of the song. So now that you know more about the file naming convention, let's take a look inside the Dr. Octarex player as the loops are being played live. And you'll now see how you can have a better sense of what each loop will sound like before you even trigger it. Currently we're listening to the number 1 slot, which has a snare backbeat and hi-hat keeping time. If I wanted a fill, I know number 3 has a fill waiting for me due to the F at the end of the file name. And number 4 looks like a good groove, perhaps for a chorus, since it has a ride cymbal keeping time. So let's make that transition into a chorus. And here's a fill into the chorus. And then I see I have some other grooves down here in 6 and 7 that have rim for the timekeeping. So it's kind of a really dry sort of indie groove. If I wanted to switch over to that quickly, I know that's exactly what I'll get. And then back to a ride cymbal. So now that you know more about the concept behind our file naming conventions, I'm going to show you how you can run very specific searches across entire libraries or refills when looking for a certain type of groove. So in this case, I'm looking at the Funk Essentials refill that we released back in March. And for this search, I want a snare backbeat, and I want the ride cymbal being played in the right hand. So maybe it's for a bridge or a chorus. So knowing our naming convention, we can run very specific search queries inside the browser. So this is for snare drum and ride cymbals. So using the file naming convention, typing in sn_rc, and it instantly shows me everything inside that refill that is a snare drum backbeat with a ride cymbal playing time. So you can browse through and find exactly what it is you're looking for. And the nice thing is it shows you the parent folder where the rest of the loops reside. So if you find something and you want a hi-hat groove to go with it, or floor tom fills, or anything else, you can go directly to that folder.